Hey, people, welcome to today's session of our podcast. Today, we talked about the mind body connection. We talked about what gets people stuck on their routine. Sometimes this routine doesn't work quite well for them in terms of the health outcomes they are looking out for. I personally have always wanted to improve on how I feel health wise. I do believe that your mental health has a lot to do with your physical health. You see a lot of times people get registered in the gyms January and February, March, they don't go anymore because they lose out on their resolve and the consistency there is lacking. So we talked about that with Ali. Ali is my personal trainer. He's trained a lot of people. He's helped them go beat that resistance that they might be having and help them improve on their physique and how they feel about themselves. So please stay tuned. There's a lot to learn. I'm guessing that some of your questions will be answered in today's session. And my goal, I think it's a good one to have that goal, is that you're not only killing your career goals or your business goals, you have to be doing well in this vehicle called your body, because that's what's ultimately going to get you to whatever destination you have set out for. So please stay tuned and watch through, and I trust that you learn a thing or two. Thank you. Hey people, welcome again to our show. Today I'm not alone. I have a friend and a trainer right in the room. I decided to bring him on the show to share his experience and to help us navigate an important discourse in the area of the mind-body connection. Like you might know, man is a spirit having a mind and living in a body. Are three important parts that must be managed to help us succeed in our life's journey. So I'll be bringing up Ali soon from APG Fitness. He's my personal trainer over the last couple months. I've experienced a lot of changes in the way I feel. I believe that how you feel impacts on how you think a lot of times. If you feel confident, it impacts on how much, it impacts on your mileage on the success journey, really. So how can we improve on that path? How can we, they say the mind and the body are two sides of the same coin. If you're doing well in your body, if your physical fitness is right there, top there, it impacts on how much you are doing your mental health. So your physical health has a lot to do with your mental health and vice versa. So the question is, how can we, work with the science of improving? I know we are busy people, a busy part of the world, but how can we be on top of our game in ensuring that this body works for us? This body helps us carry our big goals, bring it into fruition. So that's why we have Ali in the room today, and I know he's got a lot to say. My first question to him is, I've heard that January and say maybe February are the period when you have the highest enrollment in gyms. What happens after February? What happens to people's resolve? What happens to their determination? Why do they drop off on the journey of self-improvement?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Ali.
The answer to your question, it throws me off too, to be honest, frankly. A lot of people have their New Year resolution. They want to go to the gym. They want to change something. It doesn't have to be training. It could be anything that they want to do that's brand new for them. But the problem is, it's the inability to be consistent. Now, for some people, like yourself, they hire a trainer to get them to do that, to get them to get through, to stay consistent. Because, a paid session, it's either you go or it's gone. And you pay for it. It's not cheap, right? Yeah. So you have to do it. But it all starts, it depends really on the person. Are they the type of person, for example, in the morning, let's say, for example, are they the type of person that make their bed? For example, because
As
it
simple as
all
that.
exactly it starts in the mind first. If you can make your bed, then you are disciplined. For example, you have a clean, proper mind. If you go in anybody's house, the first thing you go to is their room. If their room is not clean, then their mind's not clean. If you
That's
think about
deep.
it, that's basically it, right?
Yeah.
So that just means they're all over the place. They say they're going to do something, they do it for a little bit, but then they revert back to their old habits. And habits are hard to break. That's the problem. You know what I mean? Just like people when they say, it doesn't have to be New Year. It can be, I'll start Monday. I'll start next Monday. I'll do next year. So the way to get people to be consistent is fundamentally they have to, find a purpose. That's the thing.
I think that's a big point.
Right? Huge.
You said two important points that I'd like us to double down on. The first is the idea of turning your discipline into an habit.
Exactly.
Because I'm amazed when I hear, you find people go to the gym in this part of the world at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
With the cold, and what's going on in their mind that moves them from, I'm committing to this, and it becomes an habit that I'm stuck to.
Well, the way that would happen is simply, put it this way. A lot of people don't like to try anything that's new. Right? Most people don't like to try something that's new. They're good into their own habits. Right? Whatever's easy for them.
Even though the habit is painful.
Exactly. Even if it is, but they've done it for such a long time and they stuck to it. That's the thing. And they just don't want to try something from zero. That's the thing. There was a bunch of times where I trained different clients, and they're like, I would start with them from home training because they don't like being in the area vicinity of other people, watching them, judging them, thinking that it's going to happen that way, but it doesn't. You know what I mean? So to your question, I think mostly what people should be really focusing on is trying it. And the moment they do, specifically physical exercise, they'll see how much they'll feel a lot better by simply just changing one thing. If they can go as far as to start, it doesn't have to be physical exercise. Physical exercise, it could be walking, right? Going outside, meditation, right? Form of meditation. Go outside for a walk and see how much you feel better. Start eating a little bit better. See, people, and most people go from from nothing to all, right? Or all to nothing. There's no, it has to be step by step.
Yeah.
You can't just, some people can dive deep into it. Some people can't. I'm the type of person, I got to go all in. It's either all in or all out. I can't go 50-50 or 60-40. I need to go all in, right? And for example, you get people that do bodybuilding shows. That's the only for them to get to the next level of physique. They have to be ready, for example, to step on stage, to do things like that.
Yeah, the performance.
Exactly. So the way you get yourself in the gym and you get really addicted to it is when you see how much you feel, how much better you feel.
Yeah.
As soon as I've had clients, and literally like yourself, I'm pretty sure the moment you started doing this, the moment you started eating better, eating a little bit more protein, you felt how full you were. You felt how much movement you had. At one point you had knee pain, right? And we started doing some mobility exercises, physical exercise to help strengthen the muscles surrounding that joint. You even told me I felt better playing soccer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I felt better carrying my boys from the car to their classrooms.
There you go. Yeah.
Because I have to have one here.
Exactly. And as a father, right, you have three. I'm used to too active.
Yeah.
So you have to be, weary and you have to make sure that you're able to catch up with them, right? And number one thing for parents is you need to be able to eventually still be able to walk and run after your kids at some point, right? And that's the thing. So overall, it's just to say that all you need to do is the moment you start exercising, you'll get addicted. But the only time that you really will start getting addicted is when you start seeing results. The results are what are going to keep you drawn in. That's the thing. They're gonna be like, oh wow, this is great, I'm going to keep trying. The hardest part of physical exercise, though, or changing the body and the mind and the soul, it's doing the work outside of the gym, not just inside of the gym. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Training is easy. Training is 45 minutes to an hour tops.
All of the things to eat, not to eat.
Exactly.
The steps to take a day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as you get older, it's more about managing stress and sleep than it is about nutrition and demanding a lot of physical exercise, right? Because the body, at the end of the day, what happens to the body as you get older? The joints gets weaker, the muscle gets weaker. There's more responsibility in your life, right? Family, all that kind of stuff, right? So that you have to take on a lot more, so you have to change things up, right? And depending whether you started doing physical exercise or not, or what kind of job you were doing and how much it was demanding, there's so much things to talk about. But again, all is to say that you need to give it a try, and you need to be at least in it for about 6 to 8 weeks before you say, okay, whether this is working or not. You can't just go in for a week and say, this is not working.
Of course, even a week, your body's still sore.
Yeah, of course. And that's another thing, right? People, like, the moment they start, I've had a lot of people start with me. It's like, wow, and like I'm getting sore. Like, I can't even get out of bed, for example. Well, that's how it starts. The body's going to get used to it. It's going to adapt and change and get stronger. That's the thing. But it's about starting, right? And that's that one point. Some people, it's like, I'm always getting sore and I'm stopping. And that's where you need to keep going.
That's where you need to keep it going.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to take a moment to talk about the purpose side of it? Like someone called it the strong why. Why do you want to do this? Because again, I feel that has a lot to... Let me answer that question myself. For example, why did I get into it? I told you I'd registered Good Life Fitness 2020, thereabout, but I didn't quite, go back. Because life got busy and all of that. But
at the time, you said it was also because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID, of course.
Right, there's that too.
We got chased indoors. So, yeah. But again, strong why. I wanted to tick that box in my life. Do you get? Because I know it's important. Yeah. I know that no, your dream or vision or your goal is as valid as the house or the vehicle.
Absolutely.
That's going to get you there. So that point of reflection was a tipping point for me that got me committed to this. And of course, my wife was cheering me up that, every day I don't want to pick your call. Yeah. She's the one that says you have to go there. You have to. Do you get? So talk about that in your experience with other clients of yours. What's the common denominator? What do you hear most from them as to why they are committing to this?
Honestly, it's just the way that it makes them feel. Honestly.
Okay.
I've had a client, for example, she dislocated her shoulder. For example. The first day she wanted to quit. She made an investment, though. That's the thing. That's the big thing. This is where, like, for example, I don't like doing it, but I do it because that's the only way to get them to come in. One of the ways, right? But it's to hook them in at the beginning and then to show them that it actually works.
Yeah.
I always charge people 2 months in advance. That's what I do.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. So what it does is you paid that money, it's not coming back.
Yes.
Right? So it forces them to come. I don't do it because I want to. I do it because I need them to come in.
Skin in the
exactly. Basically, yes. That's what I do, right? It's crazy. Like I'll even say that. I'll even say there's a client that actually paid me 2 months in advance, didn't show up the second month, they just left. For example.
Take the word I'm done.
I've even tried to text, call, it's I feel horrible.
Yeah.
Because they paid so much money. It's like I feel like I'm stealing. You know what I mean? But it's not the case. It's like it's a commitment. I tell people straight up, I'm like, you pay 8 weeks in advance because I know for a fact a week is not going to do it. And if you end up being sore or something, you're going to end up quitting.
True.
And my goal is to get you to not quit.
Okay.
That's the goal. And on top of it, I teach people, there's other coaches, for example, I teach people how to train, right? And I make sure they learn how to train, because if they end up wanting to go on their own, they can. Yeah. That's the big factor. Now, to answer your question fully, the people, their why is simply because they started feeling a lot better as soon as they started with me. A few weeks, a week. It only took them a week. Most of them took them a week
Feel
to
lighter,
see exactly, to feel lighter, less
energetic.
bloated.
Yeah.
You know,
You feel good.
no indigestion problems, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
But it's just about getting them to eat better quality food and sleep better, obviously. And honestly, the biggest factor is managing one's stress.
Sure.
Right? That's the biggest one. And it's very hard for a lot of people, because what's considered normal nowadays, it's actually completely unnatural. It's not normal.
That's
right?
another topic.
Yeah, 100%. But that's the biggest factor in terms of how the body functions, because it could be the difference in between you feeling better or you feeling worse.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the thing. And yeah, that's basically it. But their why is the moment they started working with me, they instantly started feeling better a week out. That's it.
And that matters a lot.
Right? I mean, what about you? Like, you've trained with me.
Of course.
You know, the first, what got you hooked up? Like, other than your wife, of course.
I mean, a couple of days I felt sore, of course. But I mean,
did you ever think to yourself, and that's it, I'm done? Like, well, I've actually never asked you this.
I'm a businessman. I can't put down 2 months. 2 months of funds and not come back.
Do you see what I mean?
Do you see what I mean? That gets me hooked in. Really.
My question is how did you feel in your first? Honestly, like we've been training for a few months now. You can be honest with me, obviously. What on the first date were you like? I'm calling him. I don't want this anymore. Or were you like?
Not at all. Okay. I didn't feel that. I felt that this is good.
Okay.
I felt that. I mean, this would help me achieve that goal, because it's always been a goal. Do you get? I thought that finally turned the curve.
Yes.
In terms of getting that structure of commitment, because it's not about me trying to go to the gym and not go when I don't feel like. Yes. And like I said, the first week, of course, I was sore, but after that week, I started feeling better. I started feeling more flexible. Do you get?
Absolutely.
So all of that early wins sort of made me know that this is something I should see through.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Of course. Yeah.
And I mean, to talk about why I even part of what inspired me to begin the journey is Leo in the room. And I would like to have him share his thoughts, because I used to know Leo a couple years, like I mentioned to you. It didn't look like this before. It wasn't, but all of that changed in, I would say, maybe 1 year. He started to look more
dense. You would say dense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's more size.
Yeah,
There's more size.
He was walking more confidently. Do you get? So, I mean, seeing that change, I was like, this is very good. Do you get? And again, you want to have that sort of inspiration in people, that if Absolutely. You can do it, maybe I can do it. Do you get? Maybe I can see through that process. I'd like Leo to tell us his own journey and what got him started and got him what got him started and what got him stuck in the process.
Okay, sorry guys, we have to share this mic. So
it's okay.
So I started training officially when I was in the UK. I had a friend that was obsessed about training, so he got me into the gym because he was like my best friend in business school, and he's usually bored and he doesn't want to train alone, and so he convinced me. I think the first month gym subscription, he actually paid for it, and then he started.
Paid for you?
Paid for.
Yeah, bro.
He really wanted to get you
because I wasn't that serious, right? And I was low-key broke at that point in time, so it was like,
I'll thanks about.
Yeah, so it was like, let's go to the gym. I've always wanted to work out anyways, so working out is something that's always interested me. In fact, if I track my memory back a little bit, I remembered, I think it was my second year in uni, my first year actually. So my cousin is in the second year, and I came in into like my first year, and I went to visit my cousin, and he took me to like one wood, like it was like an outdoor gym, yeah, but in Africa, right? And you would see boys wearing a t-shirt like this. You would think, oh, it's got nothing on there. Then they will remove their shirts. Their chest is big. They have six packs. So I admired that a lot, and all of that got into my head. My cousin is very fit. He's huge, he's tall. He had everything going for him. He was always running, doing like 100 push-ups in the room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah. So I had
Superman
that,
stuff.
Exactly. I had that as an inspiration, right? So when I got to my master's degree, sort of like qualification or school rather, that also propelled me to join my friend, right? So
you guys were going together.
We're going together all the time. I enjoyed it, even though there was pain in it, right? I enjoyed it. Also, my younger brother as well is very fit. I saw the transition of him going from being fat to chunky with a bit of muscles in his arms, right? So that was what encouraged me to stay in the gym, and I kept going from there. And although I didn't know what I was doing, that's the honest truth.
The result was not pronounced.
Exactly. I was just drinking protein shake and then going to the gym to train whatever I've seen on Instagram, right? Because I didn't have a coach or anything. And then I moved to Canada, and then I was bored. I was working, but then I would just go back home and sit down.
What do I do after work?
Exactly. So I just registered for the first gym. I think it was Good Life, and I started going.
Good Life before my body?
Yeah. Okay. So I was in Good Life for a while. Then COVID came. I paused, and then I think that was when I did like dirty bulking.
Oh, okay.
So I was doing some push-ups in the house, but I wasn't going out as much, and I wasn't training as much, and I wasn't walking. So I think I added more size, and then I moved to Movati after they allowed gyms to open up, right? And then I think that was the first time I saw you.
Yeah,
because this guy, he has an habit of asking people to spot him, right? And
really?
Yeah. And then he's always, when he's training, you will know he's training, right? Because he's very serious and he's very, very meticulous with the way he trains, right? So, and then I think he asked me to spot him, and he does not remember.
I don't remember this.
But you remember.
Because I was like,
I left the mark on
I'm like, who is this crazy guy? Why is he training? Does he want to die? Like this, So after then, I think I got kicked out of Movati because I used to film my training session.
Wow. You don't like it.
Yeah. So, well, they said I should stop. So I was like, nah, I'm going to quit. Then I started researching gyms that allowed me to go in with my camera and film, my workouts. Then I saw 613. Then I started training in 613. And then 613 is a whole different gym entirely. The people there are
serious.
Yes, I was.
So
serious.
gyms like differ in terms of the experience.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, Movati and Good Life. Well, I mean, I say Movati specifically. It's more like a club than it is a gym. Yeah, exactly.
It's only Good Life Fitness I've used.
Yeah. I think Good Life and Movati are like the same, but 613 is different. Everybody is early times, maybe times 2, times 3.
I mean, that's a good thing. They inspire you. That's a good thing.
Anyways, I saw him in the gym one of the days, and I was like, yo, I know him.
Recently after you signed up?
No. It took a while. I think it took like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I noticed you working out. Well, I didn't say hi then. I think a couple of sessions after I saw you, and you were talking to, is it Ahmed? I can't remember his name.
Ahmed?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You were talking to him, then I passed and I made a side comment and you laughed. And then we saw like in the change room and you were like, oh, we should train together, and then we scheduled something in and that was it.
And that's how you guys started.
So.
And it showed me one of the videos. I was like, wow, I like what I see.
My question today was, how was the workout the first day?
Oh, bro, I can't even remember, right? Because every day is like the first day. training with Ali.
So he raises the bar every day.
So the thing is, I've trained with people that are stronger than me. I've trained with people that I'm stronger than, right? The people that are stronger than me would always tell me to be careful, right? No, you can't lift 70 kg. 70 LEB, you're too, but with Ali, it's different. You'll be like, you have to keep up, bro. If I'm pushing 70, you should get close.
No, I tell him, see, this is my limit. I'm not going to exceed this. If I'm done, I'm done. But again, I get that point.
Man,
I get the point where you have to push yourself.
But I would never tell him to do the same weight. I would always tell him to get at least somewhat close, right? First of all, man, when we were on, let's say on the leg press, I don't want to end up taking off, like 10 plates off or something, Sure. I would want to take off a couple off. That's first, that's, But second of all, I want him to keep up because I want him to get stronger, But I always tell him, I'm a big advocate when it comes to making sure, that the form is correct, right? I always tell him, right? And I tell you too when we were training. So I always tell him that, and the moment something comes off, I tell him instantly. And he always, the biggest thing is communication. So he tells me my knees or my elbows or my shoulders, something's off. I tell him, okay, let's stop.
Yeah, that's the benefit of average.
Yeah, exactly. But you get people, it's like you keep going until you're crawling. I used to be like that, but not anymore. I read the room, right? As a good coach, you should be able to tell. But the problem is, some coaches, they just push for the sake of pushing. I push and I listen. Right, so it's you need to make sure that you're aware of what's happening because that's life in your hands, literally.
Absolutely.
You do anything wrong and it's on you.
And I think I like that part also when we train. Let's say we go from, say, I don't know, we're raising with 5 pounds, 10 additional, and when you start to see that I'm struggling, you start to bring it back.
Yes.
You bring us back so that the next one we go further again.
That's right. So what you're saying is when we're training, the primary goal is to get stronger because you need strength to build muscle, right? That's the thing. And while we're training, you're indirectly targeting other particular styles of training to get more stable as well. So to do that, you also need more strength for that, right? Again, it's just different ways of training to lead to development for that particular area of strength. So it's then right after that, what we do is we drop it back down to clean up the quality of the repetition, right? That's the idea. Anybody that starts, when they start to do a lunge or do a push-up, it's not going to look pretty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they develop that strength eventually, and then you correct them after, because you cannot get a proper form at the beginning if you don't have the strength for it.
True.
And that's the thing. This is the two different things. I used to just make sure form is correct 100%. Where this was years ago, where what I should have done was make sure that they got stronger. And where do you do that? On machines that are isolated, right? Things are fixed objects mostly. Just like the machine you have inside, that bar that slides up and down, that's a fixed object, right?
True.
So that helps you not focus so much on balance, but it focuses you on pushing or pulling properly.
Correct.
That's the idea. But we do a little bit of both, right? So you can get stronger everywhere, right? And with Leo, when I was training him, again, I was making sure he was failing, but failing in the proper way, right? So overall, I don't know, man. Like, did you enjoy the whole experience?
Well, you know the answer to this, right?
I mean, you look good, but the thing is, obviously, he developed his skill really well, and he looked better, obviously, a lot more better. But the question is like, what kind of experience did you get from training with me, and what did you like most about it, and what didn't you like too?
What did I like most? Well, I mean, I feel good every time I come out of training with Ali, right? And I feel fulfilled, and I feel like I've done
I think
something
that
great.
I
had a good workout. Like
it's a big one.
It's important, right? I do work out alone, and every time I work out alone, I always feel like I've not done enough or I've not pushed myself enough, right? But with Ali, I come out knowing that I've tried more than my best.
Yes,
you
yes,
know,
yes,
like
yes.
I've given
Because it
more than
pushes you
100%.
beyond your limits.
Exactly. So that's one thing. And then there are conversations we also have whilst we are training. You know, those ones are also important and key. You know,
Yeah.
all these sort of like discussion of how fitness, you know, connects to life, and it balances your, you know, how you can balance your emotion and your mental health and all of these things. You know,
I think those
so
are important.
yeah,
Very important.
those are the things that, you know, makes me love training with Ali. You know, I don't know, man. You know,
Anyway, I think for the purpose of the people listening, I'm a working professional. You have a family. I have a family. We have many reasons why we should not come the next day. You know, we have commitments in our church. We have other things that we do. Someone could be sitting there listening. I am 50 years old. I don't know if I can do this again. You know, I'm 45. I have children that I have to attend to. My work is very it's taking a big toll on me. I don't think I have additional bandwidth to go to the gym. How can we help that person? What can we say to them? Maybe this question is for Ali. Yeah, what can we say to them? People who do not, life is getting in the way for them. Yeah, how can they cut through all those obstacles to actually, you know, hitting the gym basically?
You know, there's a saying, you can't force somebody to do something they don't want to do, or they're not ready to do, right? There's a saying, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like it's like that saying, you can bring the horse to the water, but you can't force the horse to drink the water.
You're correct. Okay.
You can pour salt
in
the throat of the horse, right?
To make it tasty.
Exactly.
You make the horse tasty. So meaning you can catalyze it, you know?
Yeah, of course. But that's the thing, man. Most 50-year-olds are stuck to their roots.
Correct.
Or 60, right? And they don't, like, I have a grandfather, man, that's just 80 years old. There's no way in hell he's gonna start training. You know, that's not gonna happen.
Understandably so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and you gotta also understand the people back then were a lot better off in terms of what they were eating too.
Yeah, they were not living sedentary lifestyle.
No. There's
They were not working
multi-processed food.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Ultra processed foods.
Yeah,
as
ultra.
well.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot.
That's the problem. So, you know, for the people right now, you know, people that are 40, 50 years old, they know about training. You know, and in terms of having no time, that's a lie. Because I'll tell you something, right? You have 8 hours of sleep?
I think I agree with you.
Right.
I agree with you about that because before now, sorry to cut you. Before now,
it's okay.
When I come from work, most times I find that I'm probably watching football highlights just on the bed. Or probably catching up on the news.
There you go.
What's happening?
That's what I mean. If you write it down on a piece of paper, and you schedule everything that you do throughout your day, I am pretty sure you can find at least 20 minutes. I'm not asking you to go get a personal trainer here.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to find 20 minutes to train. You can find that 20 minutes.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So many people nowadays are on social media, just scrolling through TikTok, going on YouTube, scrolling through Instagram, and you don't even know. Like, I'm guilty of it too. Where I spend time 30 minutes on Instagram, I felt like I was there 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You shouldn't even use social media except for like something purpose. You know what I mean? We shouldn't. We're all guilty of it.
That's another symposium discussion. We'll keep that for another day. Anyway.
We're all guilty of it.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
What I'm trying to say here, to answer your question, it's you always have the time.
Yes.
You just have to see it. And write it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Just see what you're doing throughout your day. You will find that 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm asking for 15 minutes here.
It's replacement theory. You just have to replace it.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? So, I mean, you found it,
Yeah.
you know, and you're a busy person. You wake up from, 7 and you're a father of 3, right? You got your wife you have to take care of. You have your business you have to take care of. You're a busy person, yet you still find time 2 times a week to train, 3 times. Right? It's still possible.
Yeah.
You know, but whatever it is, like even there's days Or you tell me, Ali, I only have 30 minutes, I have 40 minutes.
Exactly.
You still say, I'm still on the train. You don't say, we're not going to get the hour now. Yeah, I always compensate for that time, right? I compensate for that time. I make sure there's days where we're training for an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. With me as a trainer, I don't care about the time, but I care how much energy you spent into that training.
True.
Right? So you come in, your payment is the level of energy that you spend. How much you care, how much I can see you care, I give you that time. I'm not going to be there and, have a client, whining the whole time, for example, and saying, is this done, right? Obviously, they're going to get the hour. But for other people, it's, I can see it in their eyes. They want to train. They love it. They're pushing up their limits. Okay. I give them that extra 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me, right? But again, you can always have the time. You can find the time. It doesn't matter. I'm a person that wakes up 4:30 in the morning. Is it crazy? Sure. Right? But I do it because I love it, and you can get more done throughout your day when you wake up that early.
Yeah, but not easy, man.
It's not easy. I'm not saying. Well, you got to find that rhythm. Some people don't have scheduling. Like I have a client, works as a nurse. A nurse schedule is what, 4 days on, 3 days off.
Sometimes
but it goes
shifts.
night, mornings.
Yeah.
It kills your circadian rhythm. So it's the time that you sleep, the time that you spend sleeping, for example, right? And then how consistent it is. That cycle should never end. The moment you mess with that cycle, what happens? Your body goes all over the place. You know what I mean? There's no proper rest, proper rhythm of sleep.
Yeah.
Right? And you get a hard time to sleep, hard time to wake up, and your body's not recovering, functioning properly. So there's that. But guess what? He still makes time.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a matter of...
if you want to. That's it.
Where there's a weed, there's
how bad you want it.
Yeah, true.
It's how bad you want it. And that's where most people lack right there. It's not important for them. Because what's the reality of this life right now? People care more about making money, right? Then you've got people that, care about the friends and family, right? And then you've got, other stuff, hobbies, activities, whatever. And then they've got health right at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right.
You use your health to make wealth.
100%.
At the end of the day, you use the wealth to manage the health.
That's it. Health is wealth, and it's literally, not figuratively.
True.
You know what I mean? But people don't understand that until they hit 35, 40, 50, 60, and then they're laying in bed or sitting on a couch. Right? The whole time. Right? And that's the problem. It's either you use it or you lose it. That's the idea.
But sometimes,
there is none of.
Sometimes when
there's no in between, man.
Sometimes when we do the hand exercise, I use the hand. I almost lose it for 3 days. Yeah. So anyway, that's a joke. I mean, yeah, I agree with you absolutely. You have to be willing to. You have to make time. You have to have a strong why.
100%.
Do you get and keep at it? I mean, I don't want to learn from experience or regrets, like they say.
Of course.
Better to learn from an epiphany or a revelation.
Yeah.
Or you come to yourself and say, I really need to get my life on track.
100%. Yeah.
Than 60 years or 50 years down the line,
the goal should be, you should be able to pick up your kids when you're 50, 60, 7 years old, whatever, right? When your kids have kids, you want to still be able to pick them up. And how do you do that when your back gets thrown out multiple times, or you have bad knees or bad elbows or bad shoulders? You can't stand properly.
True.
Right? Because your muscles deteriorate after a certain time.
And you need to have built them
100%.
ready for that time.
And people die sooner. I'll tell you something. Longevity, and I've seen this through a reel. Some guy was talking about how if you want to live a longer life, you need to have more developed legs. What's the foundation of the human body? Legs.
The legs that carry.
Right. If you don't have legs, you can't go around. You can't go walk. You can't go see people. That's depressing. And what's the number one cause of death in the world? Depression, stress,
social
anxiety,
alienation,
right? And if you can't move around, that's depressing, right? And everything is through the foundation of the body.
And moving around is the core.
Absolutely. And the thing is, man, nobody knows what's the value of something until it's gone.
Punchline. I mean, I think it's a good place to to wrap it up, I believe this has been very informative. All of us have shared our experiences, both
Absolutely. I
on
hope the viewers helped them out and all the information we gave.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't believe it's a costly investment. Everyone does. I mean, it's not a must to get a trainer. I mean, I think it's important to say
No,
that
of course
out
not.
there. You can go to a nearby gym. I think subscriptions
Exactly.
are as low as
Yeah,
what?
for sure.
As
And
low.
home workouts are not they're not overrated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the idea.
Yes.
I think they're underrated.
Yeah, true,
Right?
true.
You
You
can
can do a
you can
lot at
get so
home.
much done by
Yeah.
just having
You
a
told
couple
me
of
of
bands.
the app on iPhone that
Yeah.
does your daily work counts.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you get how
Yeah,
much work
there's
you're
that.
taking
There's
and all of
that.
that?
Yeah, for sure. But you can go as far as doing, hip thrust on the ground, glute bridges. You can do some squats, right? You can do some band work to do your back,
Some
to train your back.
push-ups when you wake up.
Very, very simple, isolated movements to get you started at least, because these are fundamentals. We started when we first started. We did some body stuff.
True.
We didn't even touch any weights before we started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Leo had some foundation, so I was able to start with him that way,
yeah.
right? So, but we started very basic. You've never touched a weight in your life,
True.
all right?
I'm
So
not-
that's
I
the
used
thing.
to run away whenever I say.
He built it.
I mean, to be fair, I also needed to catch up on weight,
Yes.
which you worked with me on.
Yes.
Do you get? When I started, I was 59, 60. Now going to 76.
100%.
Do you get?
But the
And
biggest thing
you made
is
that goal for me, and you told me what to eat.
100%.
You know.
But the one thing is the viewers should know, and everybody should know, is that the scale should be thrown out, because you cannot dictate your progress based on a digital scale. You've got your body, you've got your bones, you got your blood, your fat, your muscle, all that, right? All that is the accumulation. All that together is your weight.
True.
Does your body separate that? It gets separated through the scale. Does that number tell you exactly how much this weighs and that weighs and this weighs? No. People assume as soon as they lose weight, they're losing fat. Every time they're gaining weight, they're gaining fat. How does that work? The scale doesn't tell you just fat, it just gives you the whole spectrum, which is why it's important to visualize and see where's the progress coming from. Is your progress, right? And then,
like, even sleeping more can help you.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, quality. Everything is good quality sleep. People like, there's people that get in and out of sleep. There's people that are in a deep sleep. Deep sleep is where you want to be, not in and out, right? So there's stuff like that, but we could talk about it obviously next time if we have more time. we'll do some more for sure.
Anyway, I think this was exciting, it was informative, and I hope it helps someone out there. We have to, get everything on the journey.
Absolutely.
You want to succeed,
Absolutely.
you have to have your health, put your health on top of that list, because that's the only way to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So, and if there's anybody that's looking for any sort of information, my page, APG Fitness.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
We'll put out on the
video. I send a lot of motivational stuff, informational stuff. I even post stuff on my stories explaining exactly the exercises. People that have questions, anything like that, obviously can be answered.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you, Unity. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Leo. Thank you for helping to put this together. Thank you, everyone.